Have you ever wondered who the richest person in history was? Well, let me introduce you to Mansa Musa, a man whose wealth was so immense that it is said to be beyond quantification. During his journey to Mecca, the amount of gold he circulated was so significant that it caused economic disturbance for a decade in the region. From his impressive military conquests to his pilgrimage to Mecca, Mansa Musa's life is shrouded in mystery and awe-inspiring wealth. Join me as we delve into the fascinating story of the man who controlled half of the world's gold and transformed the Mali Empire into a global kingdom. To learn more about Mansa Musa and his remarkable riches, we must turn to the historical records left by Arab scholars like Al-Umari, Ibn Battuta, and Ibn Khaldun. Born in 2080 into a family of rulers and nobles, Mansa Musa's lineage can be traced back to his grandfather, Abu Bakr Keita, who was the nephew of Sundiata Keita, the founder of the Malian Empire. Although Mansa Musa's grandfather and father did not ascend to the throne or have significant roles in Mali's history, his brother, Mansa Abu Bakr II, ruled the empire before him. During his reign, the Mali Empire included territories that were once part of the Ghana Empire. Musa served as Abu Bakr's deputy and held titles like Lord of the Mines of Wangara, Conqueror of Ganata, and Emir of Mel. In the 14th 100 years, Abu Bakr, a leader of an undefined realm, was said to have been captivated by the Atlantic Sea and anxious to find what lay past it. He even relinquished his throne and led an expedition with a fleet of 2,000 ships and many people, including men, women, and slaves, to explore the ocean's mysteries. Notwithstanding, the destiny of Abu Bakr and his partners stay obscure. Some conjecture that he could have arrived in South America, yet there is no proof to help this case. It is possible that he perished at sea or encountered other misfortunes. After his brother's death, Mansa Musa inherited the throne of the Mali Empire when he was 32 years old. During his 25-year reign from 1312 to 1337, he proved to be a successful military leader who expanded the Mali Empire's territory by conquering 24 cities, including Timbuktu. The domain crossed around 2,000 miles, reaching out from Flo, Niger, to the Atlantic Ocean, including bits of Senegal, Mauritania, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, the Gambia, Guinea-Bissau, Guinea, and the Ivory Coast. The vanquished regions were wealthy in assets, especially gold, ivory, and salt. According to the British Museum, Musa's reign marked a period of prosperity for the Mali Empire, which controlled half of the world's gold. As the king, Musa had access to unlimited amounts of gold and other precious resources, and his conquests brought major trading centers that further enriched him. At the height of the Mali Empire, Musa was estimated to have a net worth equivalent to $400 billion in modern times, thanks to his vast reserves of gold and other resources. During Musa's reign, one of the most remarkable events was his pilgrimage to Mecca between 1324 and 1325. Even though Mali was the home to nearly half of the world's gold supply, it wasn't well known until Mansa Musa, a deeply religious Muslim, embarked on a journey to Hajj in Mecca. This expedition took him through the Sahara Desert and Egypt. It is said that Musa set out from Mali with a caravan of 60,000 men. His caravan consisted of the entire royal court, officials, soldiers, entertainers, merchants, camel drivers, and 12,000 slaves. They even brought along a large number of goats and sheep for food. Essentially, the caravan was like a moving city, decorated with the finest Persian silk and gold brocade. They carried 100 camels, each loaded with hundreds of pounds of pure gold. Their impressive appearance, however, was only fully appreciated when they arrived in Cairo. Musa and his entourage spent 3 days camping at the pyramids of Giza upon arriving at the outskirts of Cairo. They then crossed the Nile River and met with the Mamluk Sultan, Al-Nasir Muhammad, in Cairo. The Sultan had already received one Mansa, Sakura, on his Hajj journey. He expected Musa to bow down to him, but Musa refused and only bowed to God. Nonetheless, Musa and Al-Nasir had a friendly exchange and exchanged gifts. Musa and his group stayed in the Karafa district of Cairo, where they befriended Governor Ibn Amir Hajib and shared much about Mali. After Al-Umari traveled to Cairo a dozen years after Mansa Musa, he was taken aback by how much people praised the Golden King. This highlights the profound impact Musa had left on the city. During his 3-month sojourn in Cairo, he distributed gold so liberally to the destitute citizens he encountered that the price of gold plummeted in the region for a decade, causing economic havoc. He also bartered gold in different cities and constructed mosques along the route. Musa's pilgrimage and the resulting decline in gold value resulted in an estimated $1.5 billion or 1.1 billion pounds worth of economic damages across the Middle East. This era in history represents the sole instance where an individual held control over the entire gold industry and its pricing. While Musa was on his pilgrimage to Mecca, a clash erupted between a group of Malian pilgrims and a group of Turkish pilgrims in the Masjid al-Haram. Swords were unsheathed, and the situation could have escalated into bloodshed, but Musa managed to persuade his men to stand down. On his return journey, Mansa Musa traveled through Egypt once again, but the expedition was not as smooth as the first one. By the time they reached Suez, many Malian pilgrims in his retinue had perished due to cold, famine, or bandit attacks, and they had lost a lot of their supplies. Some accounts suggest that Musa had to borrow gold from lenders and merchants in Cairo after losing almost all of his supplies. Others claim that he tried to help the Cairo economy by removing some gold from circulation, only to borrow it back at exorbitant interest rates from Egyptian lenders. Lucy Duran, a member of the School of African and Oriental Studies in London, notes that the Mali Empire's griots and singers who were known for their historical storytelling were not fond of Mansa Musa. They were hesitant to laud him in their songs as they believed that he squandered local resources beyond the empire. However, despite the amount of gold he spent or misused during his pilgrimage, his generosity towards others made him beloved throughout the world. Mansa Musa's reign transformed the Mali Empire from a regional power in West Africa into a globally recognized kingdom. He put himself and his domain on the world map, as evidenced by an illustration of an African king seated on a golden throne in Timbuktu, holding a piece of gold. This exceptional ruler was none other than Mansa Musa. Timbuktu, in a way, became the African equivalent of El Dorado, attracting people from far and wide who sought to catch a glimpse of it. Even in the 19th century, Timbuktu remained its mythical status as a lost city of gold, located in the edge of the earth. Mansa Musa's achievements 500 years earlier left such an indelible imprint that it lured explorers and European fortune hunters for centuries to come. Mansa Musa's journey to Mecca was not solely a demonstration of his wealth. When he had completed his Hajj rites, he met with numerous Islamic scholars, some of whom were direct descendants of the Prophet Muhammad, to bring him back to his realm. Among them was Abu Ishaq Es-Saheli, an Andalusian poet and architect who is widely credited with designing the famed Ginger Rubber Mosque. According to legend, the architect received 200 kilograms or 440 pounds of gold from Musa as payment for his design. In today's currency, that would be equivalent to $8.2 million or 6.3 million pounds. Musa demonstrated his passion for education by bringing scholars to his empire, fostering the arts and architecture, financing literature, and constructing schools, libraries, and mosques. As a result of Musa's efforts, Timbuktu grew into a hub of trade, culture, and learning, attracting people from all over the world to study at what would eventually become known as Sankora University. During his reign, the University of Sankore established one of the world's largest libraries, containing approximately 1 million manuscripts that rivaled the Library of Alexandria. Timbuktu's renown grew to the point that merchants from cities in southern Europe, such as Venice and Genoa, began to add Timbuktu to their trade routes. Musa is frequently credited with beginning the custom of schooling in West Africa, and is additionally broadly viewed as perhaps the most extravagant figure ever, owing to some extent to how much gold was delivered during his rule. Mansa Musa passed away in 1337 at the age of 57. Although his sons inherited the empire, they were unable to maintain its unity, resulting in its fragmentation. Eventually, the arrival of Europeans in the region led to the empire's complete dissolution.